In the Know, a radio program talking to the newsmakers in Ogle, Lee, DeKalb counties and beyond, keeping you in the know. Here's your host, Charles Van Horn.
Good morning, and joining us, Illinois State Treasurer Michael Frerichs. Good morning.
Good morning, Charles.
Great day to have you with us. A couple of big things to talk about. First off, you have gone out of your way to make sure you connect Illinois residents with stuff they've left behind. And my goodness, the things people leave, not only in safety deposit boxes, but in uncashed checks, that is an unreal amount of money.
It is. It's always a good day to return money to people in Illinois. On average, every day we are in office, we return about $1 million. Since taking office, we returned over $2 billion. To put that into perspective, my two predecessors combined returned about $750 million together. So we've done things differently, and we put a lot more money back in pockets.
And that's the important thing, too, is people with that. A lot of it's like last paychecks and insurance premiums of just weird amounts of money that people just somehow lose track of.
Yeah, people either lose track of it or it never got to them in the first place. People tell me all the time that, Treasurer, I keep track of my money. You don't have my money. Maybe, though, there was a paycheck owed to you that you didn't collect from a previous employer. Maybe there was a rebate or a refund that was mailed to your house, but you thought it was junk mail, it got thrown away, or it was lost in the mail. Maybe someone named you as the beneficiary of a life insurance policy, and you didn't know it. For any number of reasons, this money may have never gotten into your hands in the first place, but we fight every day to get that money back into the rightful owner's hands. And anyone who has questions can look at illinoistreasurer.gov.
And that's your website. You have a thing there to reconnect you. Just a little bit of personal details that you enter, and you can see if you have money coming your way. I personally don't have any money coming my way, but I know a couple of people with my name that have money coming towards them. So that gets tempting every day to commit a little bit of minor fraud. But you guys look out for that, of course.
We do, but we encourage people to go to our website. You can go directly to icash.illinoistreasurer.gov or go to illinoistreasurer.gov and click on iCash. There's a simple, small database there. Put your name in there. Put previous addresses you lived at. If you don't find something that belongs to you, like in your case, Charles, put in just your last name. Maybe you'll find some relatives who we have money for. And think how fun that would be to call that cousin, that sibling you haven't talked to for a little while and say, I was thinking about you the other day, and I found money for you on the Illinois Treasurer's website.
This would be a really low-cost stocking stuffer. Just a printout of all the money that they need to claim and instructions to do. See, that's a great holiday gift right there, right?
If you go there, if you don't want to talk to that relative, we have a share button. You just click on share, and we'll send them an email, and we'll tell them that you were thinking about them. But as we're coming up next month on Thanksgiving, I think it's a good time to say thanks to people. And as everyone says, it's the thought that counts. If you're thinking of them, if you search for them, that should be important to them.
Michael Frerichs, Illinois Treasurer, with us. Changing gears, let's talk a little bit about the Illinois funds. Your office works hard with municipalities of all different sizes on pooling money together for investments. Tell me a little bit about how that works and why the state and you guys do it.
Yeah, by investing on behalf of many municipalities and local units of government throughout the state, we have a much larger pool, which allows us to make investments that a smaller municipality couldn't on their own, allowing a higher rate of return. We know that every dollar we can help local school boards or towns or counties make in interest is a dollar that they don't have to raise in property taxes. As I travel around the state, I know this is something that bothers a lot of people. Last year, we made over $1 billion in interest income for local units of government around the state, and that's $1 billion that didn't have to be raised in property taxes or didn't have to be cut from important services. There are other investment pools out there that have lost money in the past, but not Illinois funds. With Illinois funds, we work to maximize our investment returns without taking unnecessary risk. We don't invest in the stock market. We don't invest in fads or fly-by-night things. We invest in solid securities like Treasury notes, like highly rated corporate securities, and that has allowed us to get a above-average return without taking on too much risk.
And
So I encourage them to invest this. It's liquid. They can put money in. They take it out as they want, and they should not worry about losing their principal.
And that was my next question, was about liquidity, about being able to have access to the funds, because there are investment opportunities for municipalities that lock up money for a set amount of time. And unfortunately, if you're in a small community and something happens and you need the funds now, say a water tower falls over, the Illinois funds would allow that municipality to get access to their investments quicker, right?
Exactly. If they put that money in a local CD, it might be tied up for 6 months to 3 years, depending on the term. They can take money out as they want. That's the advantage of operating such a large pool of investments. We have over $10 billion in our Illinois funds, and that grows and that shrinks, but no one has ever made a run on this completely at one time. It allows us to make some longer investments that get a good return while maintaining the liquidity that our local units of government want.
All right. Illinois Treasurer Michael Frerichs, what new programs do you have coming up for the next year or so that residents of Illinois should know about?
Well, we've got two. One, in the immediate future, we are sending out checks right now. We are sending out nearly 140,000 checks around the state of Illinois for over $13 million in unclaimed property. This is through our enhanced money match program. This is where we match our database of unclaimed property versus other state databases. And if we can verify that someone lives in an address, they don't have to go to our website. We'll just send them a check. Most of these checks are between $50 and $100. So that's not going to be life-changing, but it's not our money. It belongs to people in the state. We'd love to return it. And in this era of higher prices, that could be a couple of bags of groceries. It could be fill up a tank with gas or a couple of times. Or maybe you take your family out to dinner at a local restaurant. That money circulating throughout the local economy will do more good for the state economy than it does sitting in a bank account in Springfield.
And you said there was another program as well?
The other thing that we're always trying to improve is our college savings program. When I came into office, we had one of the lowest rated programs in the country. Now, according to Forbes, Time Magazine, Business Insider, we have one of the best in the country, and it's getting even better. We have worked with a new investment manager, TIAA. We've been able to lower fees again, have a great investment lineup, and improve technology like our website and a new app to access your college savings information. And just a reminder, your listeners, this is money that you're saving. It grows in that account tax-free. Your contributions can be deducted from your state taxes, and that money makes it much more likely that your kid goes to a university, a community college, a technical school, a vocational program, or an apprenticeship. These are all expenses allowed from a 529 account.
Michael Frerichs, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Joining us this morning, Susana Mendoza, Illinois Comptroller. Good morning.
Good morning, Charles. How are you?
And your office deals a lot with checks and finances, and so do scammers who want to try to separate people from their hard-earned money. Your office released some important cybersecurity tips.
So we have some tips for folks to avoid getting scammed, and we hope that they, pay attention to them and actually implement them in their day-to-day life.
And in the old days, it was always just fraud regarding bad checks or like theft of services, deceptive practices. But now, thanks to computers and emails, people can fall for all sorts of things that look legit, but in fact are scams.
Yes, exactly. So we would encourage folks when thinking about any use of technology, right? For example, whether it's an email or whether it's on your cell phone, to think before you click. Sometimes all it takes is a simple click, and then you invite a malicious attack into your system, whether it's your phone or, again, your laptop or your personal computer. So please do not click on any links or attachments that you might see in a text or an email from senders that you don't recognize. That's one of the fastest and simplest ways for con artists to get a hold of your financial information.
And sometimes those emails or websites will look legit as well. I experienced one just the other day. I got an email from an investment firm, and I thought it was from the place I deal with. And then I looked at the email that sent it to me, and it was from some Gmail address with a long string of numbers. And it included a very accurate-looking link telling me I needed to log back in. And that is basically what a phishing attempt is.
That's exactly right. And nobody should assume that they're not a target for being phished, because guess what? Every single one of us is a target for being phished. And for people who might not know what that word means, it's basically when someone tries to get access to your personal information through an email or a text, that's what is known as phishing. So they're hoping that you take the bait, as you know, the saying goes in the terms of phishing. It's spelled a little bit differently, but the concept is the same. These guys throw out a lure. If you click on that link, it's the same as you taking the bait as a fish, and guess what? It's going to hurt.
If you have any questions about your own finances or things like that, you can always just go directly to the website you know and trust, or through your institution's app that you already have installed on your phone. And if they do have an issue with you, they'll be sure to let you know there. Joining us, Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza. I'm going to ask you a slightly sensitive question, because I assume the state of Illinois has a myriad of security procedures. Dare I ask, how often are you forced to change your passwords on some of the software that you use?
Well, we continuously change passwords, and they're not easy things, right? They're very complicated passwords, and we would encourage people, even at home, to not use simple passwords. Use the most complicated password that nobody could possibly ever guess. But nonetheless, you can imagine, as a government system and any large business entity would, of course, have very complex software that provides for continuously changing passwords. But it can happen to the best of us. You've heard of large banks and huge corporations being hacked. So anybody can get hacked. And most of the time, when you're talking about folks at home, it's, the most simplest ways that we fall victim to. So, for example, you talked about getting phished through an email, through a text message. There's a really popular one going on right now, which is a message that you might get in a text that says that your package wasn't delivered correctly. And I can just guarantee you that that is a phishing attempt, and it's something that a lot of people fall victim to, which is why it's become one of the most popular ways to phish folks. And so you'll get a text message alerting you that there's been a problem with your delivery. Most of the time you have no delivery, so that should be clue number one. But if you did happen to, let's say, order something on Amazon or on the internet, you might get confused and assume that there is, in fact, a problem with your delivery. If you did order something from Amazon, do not click on a text. Go straight to your Amazon profile, sign in, and then check to see if there's any messages regarding your delivery. Because 99.9% of the time, those text messages are, in fact, fake. So you want to be wary of those types of things. You want to be wary of any kind of request for your password. If you did not initiate a search, if you get a text from your bank asking you to put in your password, that is a fake phishing attempt. A bank will never, ever ask you to do that outside of you directly going to that bank's website. So there are just so many different ways for you to watch out for yourself. But the easiest thing, too, is to make sure that when you decide what your password is, that it is unique, that it's not something that people can easily guess. For example, the name of a pet or your birthday or things like, or a combination thereof. Make it be a complex thing that makes no sense to anyone, even yourself, and don't write it down on a piece of paper.
Thank you so much for all the great information. Glad to have that. And as a reminder, I'm just going to go change my passwords right now.
Yes, go change your passwords and don't put them on a Post-it.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, don't do that. All right, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's In the Know. The program returns next week at this time with another great conversation with someone from your community.